This is the year GTA 6 is finally dropping. After more than a decade of waiting, speculating, and analyzing every tiny leak, now it's time to put it all together. In the next 20 minutes, I will break down everything we know about GTA 6, gameplay, the map, side activities, and more. Let's start with the stars of this game, the characters. By now, everyone knows about Lucy and Jason, the Bonnie and Clyde of Vice City, but the leaks also confirmed a bunch of other guys and girls coming our way. We get names like Dre, Sam, Billy, Wyman, Ted, Chester, and Dale. But the thing is, none of them make it to the trailer. We only learn about them from the 2022 leaks. In the trailer, however, we saw different faces, like the social worker, the one in the jail scene, Stephanie G, the old lady from GTA 6 TikTok, I guess Rudy and Chinese. Now some of these late names might also make it into the final game, but for now, Rockstar's keeping them in the dark. And while we're still talking about characters, there's one more thing worth mentioning: special abilities. It looks like each character in GTA 6 will have their own unique skills. For Jason, we've already seen him using some kind of eye ability in that robbery scene, kinda like Deadeye from RDR2, pretty much where he highlights items of interest. This could be super useful when sneaking around and robbing people in the dark. As for Lucia, she seems to have a totally different skill set: hacking. We've seen tools like USBs, tracker jammers, immobilizer bypass, and more, which she will probably use to break into computers, buildings with electronic security systems, and who knows what else. Now that sounds kinda OP, and I'm so here for it. But it doesn't end here. We're also getting a bunch of new weapons and tools in GTA 6, which of course is no surprise there. Every GTA game adds fresh new ways to keep the action alive, and this time we're even getting a spear gun to probably cause more violence, even underwater this time. But what really stands out is how Rockstar is leveling up car security. Instead of just hopping into any car and driving off, we're getting tools like the immobilizer bypass, tracker jammer, and even Slim Jims. These aren't just fancy gadgets, they suggest that stealing cars is going to be a lot trickier this time around. Maybe certain cars will have anti-theft systems that need to be disabled first, or high-end vehicles might come with built-in trackers, forcing you to wipe them before escaping. Now according to leaks, we're even getting these cut-off tools, which suggests breaking into wired fences might also be a thing, because we're robbers after all. Gangs have always been a massive part of GTA culture, and Vice City was home to a bunch of them. Some of those gangs seem to be making a comeback, and the trailer already confirmed at least one: the San for San Haitian gang. The original Vice City had a Haitian gang too, so it looks like Rockstar is bringing them back. But the leaks reveal even more. Another name that popped up is the Guardia brothers, though there's barely any info on them. Then there's the far-right militia mentioned in the event list. Again, not much is known about their role yet, but we can expect more gang-related activities in the state of Leonida. Wherever there's crime, there's law enforcement, and cops really seem to have had their proper training this time around. In GTA 6, we will no longer see cops spawning out of nowhere. Instead, they will have a dispatch timer to reach the crime scene. We've already seen this in one of the leaked clips where Lucy and Jason are robbing a diner, and there's a timer ticking down as the cops respond. This is further confirmed in the trailer, where we see Lucy and Jason driving off with a bag of cash, and a police cruiser crosses their path, suggesting the cops do take their time to reach the crime scene, and you could use that to flee the scene. This also suggests that cops won't magically know who the culprits are and what they're driving, unless the cops get a good identity of your car from the eyewitnesses on the scene. That alone is a big deal, making police encounters way more dynamic and realistic. But what's even crazier, CCTV cameras are actually a thing now. According to leaks, cops can review security footage, and if you get caught on tape, they will put a bolo out for you. And this applies to both your character and your vehicle alike, meaning if cops only have a partial description, you might have a chance to slip away, but if they get a full ID, they will definitely chase you down. All of this means robbers are going to be way more fun, and also more challenging in GTA 6. We will have to be more tactical about it, like leaving your car parked away from the crime scene so it's not easily identified, wearing ski masks to conceal your identity, all that stuff we've been watching for years on crime documentaries. Let's also talk about combat here, because that also seems to be getting a massive overhaul, even though we didn't see any of it in the trailer. But thanks to the leaks, we have a good idea of what's changing. Firstly, weapon numbers are getting capped, so we won't be able to roll with the limitless weapons like we have been doing in GTA games so far. Instead, we will only be able to carry a limited amount of guns or melee weapons, a couple of weapons slung over our shoulders, sort of like in RDR2, and a couple in hand. The leaks also suggest that we can store extra guns in bags or stash them in the trunk of our cars for later use. The gunplay is also changing. We're starters, you can now switch shoulders while aiming, which might not sound huge, but it's something we don't normally have in most games, let alone in GTA. And it's not just that, new movement mechanics are coming in, including proning and moving while still in cover, which could mean stealthier gameplay and more tactical missions. On top of that, you and even the NPCs might be able to peek and shoot around corners, and don't go all Leroy Jenkins on each other all the time. A few more interesting things that I think are worth mentioning here are the grappling mechanics and zip tying people. You can also put their bodies back in the car trunk. If you've seen the leaked footage, there was a clip where Lucia actually used zip ties to tie up this NPC, which means we won't always have to go in guns blazing. We could take a less lethal approach, tying people up instead of just shooting them. And you know what else is interesting? When you get knocked down after getting shot or something, you can even end things your way, like unalive yourself on the spot, which is something we haven't seen in any GTA game before. But on the flip side, there are medkits and revival items, meaning you might be able to patch yourself up, or your partner for that matter. Now, one of the biggest upgrades in GTA 6 is building interiors. In past games, entering buildings felt pretty limited, but this time, things are changing in a big way. From the leaked footage, we've already seen some seriously detailed interiors, crowded nightclubs, convenience stores, and pawn shops, and they aren't just for show. You can actually interact with objects, steal from cash registers, and toss items into your bag. Some of this has even been confirmed from the official trailer. One scene shows buildings with what looks like fully fleshed out interiors. Now this could just be some visual trickery like what we saw in Spider-Man 2, but another shot makes it clear that Rockstar is pushing immersion further than ever before. Different apartment balconies have these unique objects, some with surfboards, others with plants, and for the first time in a GTA game, NPCs are actually hanging out on their balconies, just doing their thing. We have even found a patent from Rockstar that suggests the developers are using this brand new AI tech that will help them create totally unique building interiors by mixing and matching furniture, decor, ceilings, doors, and more. This tech will help save Rockstar a ton of time designing each interior manually. Instead, they can have pre-made asset models divided by categories like brand, new, old, torn, modern, and so on. But don't go expecting every room and every building to be fully explorable, because that would be crazy and unrealistic. Because let's be honest, we don't usually go around visiting every room in a hotel in real life, now do we? Now let's get into the most exciting part of any GTA game, the side activities, because they are the soul of any GTA game, right? And GTA 6 is shaping up to have a ton of these, starting with robberies. From what we've seen from the leaked footage and scraped data, Jason and Lucia will be able to hold up places like convenience stores, pawn shops, and even restaurants. And these are not GTA 5 style heists. We're definitely going to have these too, by the way. But these robberies might not just be big, planned heists, but smaller, more frequent opportunities to make a quick buck. And while we're on robberies, there also seems to be these events called easy scores, which might turn out to be actual cop traps. Think of them like when you get an opportunity to rob a place, but then suddenly you get ambushed by cops, as it turns out to be a trap from the cops that was thrown your way by some associate of yours. Of course, some classic activities are making a return, but Rockstar seems to be fleshing them out more. Fishing, races, and even golf. That's something Rockstar kinda had planned for GTA Vice City, since we had golf courses there, but not really utilized. So it seems like we're gonna be playing more sports in GTA 6. We also saw basketball and tennis courts in the trailer, but there's nothing solid on whether we actually can play those yet. But hey, we can always hope. Okay, this next one we definitely saw coming, but characters in GTA 6 are going to have much more customization to them. For one, their hairs will grow dynamically with time, and you could get them trimmed from a barber shop to keep things sharp. In the leaked footage, we also noticed Lucia's weight actually changing in different leaked clips, which strongly suggests that, much like in San Andreas, players will be able to gain or lose weight based on how much they eat and exercise. So yeah, hitting the gym might actually help you bulk up and stay in shape. On top of that, we're getting a ton of new brands for clothing, accessories, and footwear, which means way more outfits to choose from. This also means we will be able to rock different accessories like glasses, caps, chains, and probably a whole lot more. From the leaks, we also learned that caps are going to be collectible items in GTA 6, so we won't necessarily have to buy them. We might just get lucky and stumble upon them while exploring the map. But it's not just the characters who will be able to customize. Vehicles are also getting a ton of customization options, both for interior and exterior. In one of the leaked clips, we actually saw devs tweaking the interior of a car, adjusting everything from steering wheel height and reach to armrests, mirrors, the glove box, sun visor, and more. Now this could just be a dev tool, but it actually makes sense for GTA 6 since characters will still vary in height and weight adjusting the interior before driving off could be an actual gameplay feature. But there's plenty more to do with the exterior as well, and some of it can be seen directly from the first game trailer. We can see cars with different stickers, exotic paint jobs, and even different types of number plates. Like some cars had flamingo plates, some had alligator ones, and then there were completely custom ones like a cheetah plate with double trees. Now I'm not exactly sure how this will work, but there's also talk about collectible car parts in GTA 6. Based on the leaks, it looks like you might be able to steal or find parts and use them to customize your own ride. Maybe this means we can build cars from scratch or upgrade them piece by piece. But what's even crazier is the fact that the cars have also been leaked to have working GPS on the dashboard that players can interact with in first-person mode while driving. This sounds like Rockstar is trying to go all in with interiors in GTA 6. And while we're talking about cars, you know what makes me more excited than all of this? Realistic car damage. In one of the clips from the leaked footage where Lucy is driving a Viper, you can see the car breaking down more realistically, with fenders splitting apart, hood getting bent, sparks flying as the metal scrapes the ground. This can be better seen in the GTA 6 trailer itself, where a car can be seen completely totaled on a busy freeway, with glass shards spread on the road, tires are bent, and it's just sitting there flipped upside down with smoke coming out of it. This is really exciting because for some weird reason, I just love wrecking cars ever since the days of Most Wanted. I know you guys have probably already spotted a ton of animals in the GTA 6 trailer. We got a pretty good look at seagulls, dolphins, turtles, sharks, flamingos, wading birds, alligators, and of course, the little iguana chilling with the homeless guy. But there is way more that we've seen in the leaked footage and the source code. For starters, we saw raccoons rummaging through trash, boards from the events list, and even mentions of pythons, skunks, opossums, pigeons, and possibly whales. And the craziest part is that horses might actually be in the game too. Now I don't know if we will actually get to ride them, but leaks suggest they're somewhere in the world. Of course, dogs are making a big return, and they are no longer limited to the main characters. In fact, NPCs might actually have them as pets, like in the beach scene where you can spot a guy walking his dog. Now that sounds seriously amazing. Now for the part that's probably been speculated and talked about the most, GTA 6 map. Seriously, I've lost count of how many leaks, rumors, and fan-made versions we've seen since the footage leaked. But now that we have the official trailer, we actually have a much better idea of what's making it into the final game. Hopefully. There's even a cool website where you can explore different map versions the fans have put together based on leaks, data mining, and the trailer itself. A lot of iconic locations seem to be in it, like Ocean Beach, Vice City Port, Fisher Island, Virginia Key, Port Calhoun, Downtown Vice City, Biscayne Key, Coconut Grove, and a bunch of other spots. Of course, Rockstar hasn't officially confirmed the full map yet, but judging from what we've seen, these locations seem pretty much locked in. And if we go by some of the insane fan-made maps, GTA 6 world could be nearly twice as large as GTA 5's. And if you think getting around in GTA 6 is gonna be boring, well, think again. We've already seen airports, a fully functional tram system that players can use, boats, yachts, and even that air-powered fan boat thingy you can use to cruise across the swamps. This is already shaping up to be the most diverse transportation system in any GTA game ever. Now, I've barely just scratched the surface here, because GTA 6 is going to be absolutely massive, and there's still a lot more to talk about, but this should give you a good idea of what to expect from Rockstar's brand new entry that's hopefully dropping this year. GTA 6 is easily the most anticipated game of all time, and analysts predict it could hit $1 billion in just pre-orders alone. But you know what? Most fans have no idea just how advanced this game is going to be. Rockstar has reportedly poured over $1 billion into its development, maybe even $2, with specialized teams working on everything from next-gen water physics to a revolutionary AI-powered animation system, and even fully explorable interiors. Yet, despite all that, some insiders claim GTA 6 won't be groundbreaking, and honestly, that couldn't be further from the truth. So let's talk facts. We all know that the gap, or the technological leap, whatever you want to call it, between GTA 4 and GTA 5 wasn't that huge. Sure, GTA 5 gave us a bigger world, more weapons, more vehicles, and even multiple protagonists. But when you really break it down, some would argue that GTA 4 actually did a lot of things better in terms of realism. And honestly, a lot of the features Rockstar developed for GTA 4 were just repurposed for GTA 5. Take the euphoria of ragdoll physics, for example. Some might even call it a downgrade in GTA 5 compared to 4. But hey, on the bright side, at least we didn't have to wait a whole decade to get our hands on GTA 5. That being said, it's not like technology wasn't advancing after GTA 4. It definitely was, was. It's just that the jump from GTA 4 to GTA 5 didn't feel that crazy. And honestly, the same might be true for GTA 6. Of course, we can expect a bigger, more detailed world and better graphics, especially since GTA 6 is only coming to the latest gen consoles like the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. But here's what a lot of people are missing. GTA 6 has been in development way longer than most previous GTA games, and it's not like Rockstar's been sitting around doing nothing all this time. Sure, there were reports that development got rebooted after RDR2's release in 2018 or even 2019, but you know what that means? Rockstar could be using everything they learned and developed from RDR2 to make GTA 6 an even bigger thing. Just like how RDR2 was a massive step up from GTA 5 in many ways. RDR2's world felt so much more believable, realistic, and alive. You could walk into buildings with people doing their own things, NPCs actually had routines and lived beyond just filling up the world, and the animals were probably the most detailed and realistic we've ever seen in a video game. Plus, the world actually evolved over time, new settlements popped up, railways got built, and things changed as time passed. So it's pretty likely that Rockstar is going to repurpose a lot of that tech while also introducing some game-changing new features. And honestly, they've already teased a lot of this in the first GTA 6 trailer, and most people just didn't notice. I mean, take the NPCs for example. What's the first thing you notice in the trailer? Probably groups of people actually interacting like real friends, tourists hanging out, having conversations on the walk, and probably the fact that they all have different body types from skinny to fat and a mix of different races and styles. It's a small detail, but it hints at a much deeper, more realistic world. But what you might not have noticed is how every NPC in this scene is doing something totally different from the others, except for these creepy ones in the background. They all have unique animations, even the way they walk is different based on their body type and weight. Check out this moment from the trailer where two gangsters shake hands. I mean, look at the details here. It feels so lifelike. You might be thinking, dude, they did it just to make the trailer look cool. But this is Rockstar. They don't do things for no reason. In fact, there was a report that talked about how Rockstar is working on creating more accurate hand animations using some high-end mocap technology. But it doesn't end there. There's another patent called System and Method for virtual character locomotion, which is like a fancy way of saying they're using AI to make animations feel way more natural. Instead of just looping pre-made animations like walking, sitting, shooting, or talking, the system will dynamically combine them based on what's happening in the game. For example, if your character is being shot at and know they can't outgun the enemy, they will instinctively cover their head with their arms while you're running for cover. And if you shoot an NPC in the leg, they will actually start limping, shifting weight to their other leg, and if you shoot them in the arm, they will start clutching the wound with their other hand to try and stop the bleeding. But it goes even deeper than that. In GTA 6, character animations will also change based on their mood, the weather condition, and even their energy levels. Like if they're angry or drunk, it will show from their walking style, which means NPCs will feel way more alive than ever before. And it's not just pedestrians, the cops are also getting smarter too. The 2022 leaks already gave us pretty good insights of how law enforcement works in GTA 6, and you can tell that they are way smarter than before. Unlike in previous games where cops would just go full Terminator mode the second they saw you, these cops actually try to de-escalate situations and avoid unnecessary civilian casualties. They also take cover better and move more strategically when surrounding a crime scene instead of just rushing in like a bunch of crazies. What's even better is that the cops are not omnipresent anymore. Someone has to actually call them in, and once they do, it takes time for them to arrive at the crime scene, giving players a chance to escape before things get messy. Remember the scene from the trailer where Jason and Lucy flee the crime scene and pass a cop car on the way? If you look closely, it seems like the cops don't immediately know who committed the crime unless they have a description of you or your vehicle. That means you might actually be able to get away with a crime if no one knows how you look or what car you used to flee. In one of the leaked robbery scenes, right as Lucy and Jason are about to flee the diner, a message pops up saying that the cops have a full description of their vehicle. This means NPCs can actually report the car you're driving and maybe even your facial description to the cops. And according to this awesome GTA 6 document that compiles all the leaks, you might be able to use masks to hide your identity. That's insane. I mean, it basically lets you pull off heists in a more realistic way, like parking your getaway car far from the crime scene, switching outfits to avoid being recognized, and probably even ditching weapons before getting searched, because apparently the DUIs are also going to be a thing in GTA 6. Also, reports suggest that almost 70% of the buildings in GTA 6 will be enterable, which is insane if true. We've already seen in leaks and trailers how Lucia and Jason can walk into shops, diners, and even nightclubs that look ridiculously detailed. And these places aren't just empty set pieces like in older GTA games. They're filled with interactable objects too. You can steal money, food, and who knows what else. But you know what? Rockstar isn't handcrafting interiors for every single building. According to a new patent, they're using AI to generate realistic interiors, and this system combines different assets like doors, floors, ceilings, furniture, and even decor items based on the type of building it is. If it's an old rundown shop, expect worn out furniture and traditional designs. If it's a 5-star hotel, you will see modern decor and spotless rooms. Even abandoned warehouses or cottages will have interiors that match their condition. Of course, that doesn't mean that every room in a massive apartment complex will be fully explorable. I mean, that's not even realistic in real life. Just like in RDR2, players will be able to walk right into buildings seamlessly, like no loading screens or anything. And it's not just you, the NPCs can also enter and exit buildings naturally, which is something that previous GTA games missed out on. And they will do much more than just stand around in there. They will actually interact with the environment, like ordering food at a diner, watching TV, spending some cash in nightclubs, or just chilling with friends, while also keeping an eye on their surroundings, calling the cops if they suspect anything criminal, and so on. But you know what would be even cooler? Burglaries. Being able to break into houses like we did back in GTA San Andreas, sneaking in, stealing valuables, and making a clean getaway without the owner knowing. That was so dope back then, and honestly, I would love to see it make a comeback in GTA 6. The tech improvements don't stop there. In fact, there is another insane patent called System and Method for Virtual Navigation, and this one is seriously exciting, you guys. According to this patent, GTA 6 NPC drivers will feel way more believable, like they won't drive like some robots following a set path. Instead, they will have situational awareness while driving around. They will react to accidents or unusual events around them, like that one NPC we saw in the trailer recording on their phone while driving, or this guy who's slowing down and sticking their head out the window to check out a car crash. Plus, they will also adjust their speed based on where they are. They will drive cautiously in crowded neighborhoods, but speed up on freeways and open roads. And unlike past GTA games, even in GTA 5, NPCs would sometimes drive straight into obstacles, like rocks and stuff, is because they were following these invisible nodes without having real-time situational awareness. In GTA 6, they will actually try to escape danger in a more believable way, like taking alternate routes or even making a wrong turn to save their lives. And if you pay close attention to the beach scene in the trailer, you will notice NPCs actually driving off-road vehicles on the sand, which is pretty sick. In another clip, we also see a group of bikers kinda zigzagging through traffic at an intersection where cars are blocked due to an accident. This suggests that gangs might actually ride together in GTA 6. It could be in bikes or even cars, instead of just walking around as groups of pedestrians like in GTA 5. I can't wait to recreate the Scooter Brothers with my boys. And you know what bothered me in GTA 5? NPCs just didn't care when their car got hit. Like no one got out to check for damage or even react realistically. That might finally change in GTA 6, because according to the patent, drivers will have different tempers. So maybe we'll finally get to see some proper road rage where NPCs kinda get out of the car, check for damage, and maybe even throw hands at each other. Please Rockstar, make it happen. Now let's talk about animals, because Rockstar is apparently going all out with the wildlife in GTA 6. We've already seen flamingos flying over the Everglades, alligators casually strolling into backyards and convenience stores, and even a pet iguana is chilling on the street with a homeless guy. Oh, and then you catch the sea turtles, dolphins, and even freaking sharks. I have probably only mentioned like half of the animals from the trailer here, but it does make me wonder if we can actually have pets. We could probably see NPCs walking their dogs around the city, or some random Floridian dude feeding his pet alligator in his backyard. That would be crazy. But guys, we've only just scratched the surface here. There's still plenty I could just go on and on about, but I'm sure you get the idea where Rockstar is going with all these brand new features. So I really believe that we should higher our expectations for GTA 6. It's just gonna be this insane video game we've never played. Like like ever before. Let me know what you guys think about all these new features and what are some of the features that you want to see in GTA 6. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.